To share or not to share? That is the question.
His success is breaking the world's rating records.
Do you know how many million people watch this show?
Yes!
Can you help us be happy again?
Man, it's tough.
He's been there for you.
Think about it. You're not a bad mother.
So be there for Dr. Phil every day at these times exclusively on the Hollywood Channel.
We'll see you soon. So long.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
No good. No good. No good. Oh, God.
Can I get some ketchup, please?
You are so good with women.
Got problems?
Look at me!
Let them give you a hand.
You know, I can never tell if you're joking or you're just stupid.
Well, I try to mix it up, sir.
The Norm Show. Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Riyadh time on Super Comedy. Dr. Andrew Brown had everything he could wish for.
I came to you because you're supposed to be the best.
I'm willing to go after this cancer with everything I've got.
But when tragedy crossed his path, he had no choice but to face the truth.
Everyone who wants to move and get their own horse, raise your hand.
Come with us to the only place for second chances. Everwood, Sundays at 10 p.m. Riyadh time only on America Plus.
You've arrived at Cinema City. The greatest movies of all time.
Wow.
Big stars.
You are amazing.
Great directors and modern classics.
Time we tried something new.
Cinema City is back, and it's new with fresh movies every day. At 8 p.m. on Channel 39, come home to Cinema City. Just great movies.
And the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers are finished today at Lambeau. The good news for all of us football fans, it'll be a rematch on Christmas Eve here on Fox in Minnesota. The SBC postgame show coming up right now.
Welcome to the SBC.
On NFL PrimeTime.
So, you thought that the Steelers and Browns had a big rivalry, but maybe it had fallen a little shy? I don't think so. We'll explain what happened before the kickoff. And the Falcons and Bucks in a fracas, and they were battling for first place in the NFC South.
Each week, ESPN has your ticket for the best in sports.
Friday Night Fights on ESPN. With a 42-3 record, Bronco McCart was ready to face some of the strongest boxers in the junior middleweight division. And it all began with a 10-round bout against Michael Lerma. Friday on ESPN.
On NBA Wednesday, an all-star matchup as the big man returns. Shaquille O'Neal, continuing to make his presence felt, goes on the road against the Bucks. Heat versus Bucks, live Wednesday, the NBA on ESPN. Your home for the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN.
Chevrolet Fantasy Ticker is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution.
Here we go, a couple late games. Team that have won one game last year's Super Bowl representative for the NFC, Jake Delhomme in Carolina against Tim Rattay. And the San Francisco 49ers, Louisiana Lafayette against Louisiana Tech. First to goal from the three, Kevin Barlow touch. The Niners are rolling away with it, 17-0. A couple field goals, Carolina. Then Kevin Barlow, fumble! Mark Fields. And isn't this a wonderful story? Mark Fields picks it up. Was Barlow down? Let's look.
Yeah, you take a look at the replay, you can see that his knee was clearly down. They challenged the call. It was reversed. He was very happy.
But meanwhile, Tim Rattay throwing out of his own end zone. Oh, no! Picked off by Fields down to the 1 line. And so now the Panthers in business. And, you know, Carolina, all their running backs are hurt. They just have fullbacks, Tom. Brandon Bennett bowls in from the 1, 17-13. San Francisco's lead down to 4. Then Jake Daylight come, and you got it alone. Muhsin Muhammad, touchdown, 40 yards, 20-17, Carolina. Field goal, San Francisco ties it at 20. Tim Rattay. Brandon Lloyd, wow, touchdown, 30 yards, 27-20, San Francisco. Then, Delhomme, Muhammad, game on. Tied at 27. All these teams put on a hell of a show. Later in the fourth, Panthers get a field goal. They lead 30-27. Rattay picked off by Brinson Buckner. And then, now they start to look like last year. Delhomme to Muhammad. The mountain and football came to Muhammad. And the Carolina Panthers, down 17-0, come back and beat the 49ers 37-27. And big comeback for Carolina. It's been a long season. At least they have a nice flight home.
You lose Stephen Smith, you lose Stephen Davis, you lose Deshaun Foster, but you still have the character that I think really is represented by their head coach, John Fox. This team reflects them.
All right, then. Bengals, Skins. And Cincinnati beat Bill Parcells' Cowboys last week, allowing them only 3 points. Certainly they can't beat Parcells and Gibbs' team back-to-back, could they? Well, Carson Palmer, Tony Stewart, touchdown. 14-0 Cincinnati early second quarter. Mark Brunell. Boy, he had a wonderful career in Jacksonville, but it looks as if he's just a far cry from that. Brunell, pass tip, picked off by Brian Simmons. Brunell today, 1 of 8 for 6 yards and the pick. And then behind Lavernius Coles, the Boo Birds. And then they warm up Patrick Ramsey. They had to. So the youngster Ramsey gets the call. Redskins, of course, backup quarterback in. That's always the most popular guy in town. But it's 17-0. And Ramsey, picked off by Torrey James. Floats it. 6 picks for James. 2.5 to go at 17-3. Ramsey to Chris Cooley. The Redskins are actually in the end zone. Final chance, Washington. Ramsey trying to buy time. It's a heave-ho. And when instead of knocking it down, Kim Pickled Herring picks off the ball. Marvin Lewis. Hey, maybe they needed a half year with Palmer. It's not a full year. Now they're starting to look like a team. Dicing Dallas, beating Washington, winning 17-10. Palmer 24-39. 217 was picked off twice, but he wins his first road game of his career, Tom.
And boom, I think another one of these teams, Marvin Lewis, the head coach of this team, I think, yes, they've struggled as he's gone through these growing pains, Carson Palmer, but now a team, again, showing a lot of character, had a good second half last year, and looking forward to a good second half this year.
When we return, big game in the NFC West. Sean Alexander, Marshall. Who would have the upper hand in this game? You thought it would be an aerial battle, which it really was, and how one pass may have changed both teams' fortunes in the Jets-Ravens game.
I'm Marty. Of the NFL on ESPN, Drew Bledsoe returns to his old home to face the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. When teams from the AFC East battle, anything can happen. Bills, Patriots live tonight. Then Bill Parcells and his Cowboys catch the Eagles after their first loss of the season. Both clubs are looking to rebound after last week's defeats. Bills, Patriots live tonight. Eagles, Cowboys live Monday on ESPN.
Visa Skycam gets you set for the defending champion New England Patriots. Tom Brady and company warming up at Frosty Foxborough as they'll tangle their AFC East foe Buffalo Bills at the bottom of the hour. The New York Football Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona rearing their head lately. The Giants first half 5-3. Ossie Omenuri replacing the injured Michael Strahan. And he did a good job right off. Josh Tears of McCown sacked by Omenuri and fumble recovered though by the Cards' Leonard Davis. Tiki Bear, touchdown. The Giants lead 14-3. Remember last week they led the Bears 14-0. Now, Clancy Pendergast reads Arizona the Riot Act. He's a defensive coordinator. Meanwhile, Kurt Warner being read the Riot Act by the Arizona defense. And Warner not fumbling today, but Carlos Dansby with the sack. Warner holding the ball a long time. Emmitt Smith runs hard still, Tom. 2-yard run, 14-10. That Arizona has pulled right within half to within 4 points. Then Steve Christie, blocked field goal third quarter. Tiki. No, not here. And Emmitt Smith, yes, here. Emmitt, a hard run up the middle. Late third, Arizona leads 17-14. Then the one-time Bronco, Bertrand Berry, comes unmarked. Sack of Warner. Fourth sack. Then Ike Hilliard. Ifani Ohaleti almost picks it off. Great play. And now, Arizona's defense smelling it. A minute to go. Carlos Dansby in Warner's face. Tips it. Turnover on down. Hey, Arizona. Arizona has won what? They're winning. They're a team that's won, what, 3 in a row at home? They've won on the road, and Arizona beats the Giants 17-14.
Yeah, and if you think about the Giants, I think the thing that's been their Achilles heel and will continue to be, we didn't talk about it when they were winning, we can talk about it now, this offensive line. Better run blockers, certainly, than they are pass protectors.
So the Giants fall to 5-4. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears in Tennessee, once again, Steve McNair cannot go for the Titans. Billy Volek going. Here's a little dump pass, but no, the Bears defense. This is shades of a few years ago. Michael Haynes, the D lineman, one of their number ones a year ago. Touchdown, 7-7. Remember when Dick Duran's team won the Central, Tom? They made big play on defense and special teams. Well, smell it again. R.W. McQuarters, 7-7 game. Up the sideline. Look at him run. He's not a quarter. He's not a dollar. He's not a $10. He's a $100 bill. Making change. 75 yards. Touchdown. 14-7 Chicago. Now we saw Drummond do it for Detroit. Can he actually, in the same quarter, McQuarters, do it again? Turns the corner. Comes to the near side. Look at the speed. He could go all the way. 85 yards for McQuarters, but blocking in the back during the return, no touchdown. 14-10 Bears. Volek says, I'm not done. Drew Bennett, touchdown. 17-14 Titans. Volek threw for 334. 2 minutes to go on 4th and 2 Bears. Craig Krenzel, molecular genetics major at Ohio State to David Terrell. First down. Paul Edinger, field goal. Corkscrew, good. 29 yards, we're tied at 17. Now, Lovie Smith looking on as Billy Volek with 44 seconds to go to Drew Bennett. Wide open across the middle. Titans in Bears territory. Craig Hentrick, the long kicker. 52 yards blocked by Mark Colombo. Colombo takes his raincoat off, and Peter Falk and Colombo block it. We go to overtime. Volek. Oh, my God, the Bears are going to win on a... Oh, they almost won on a safety. You don't ever see a game won on a safety. Phew, Tennessee. Wait a minute. Alex Brown with the hit. Volek fumbles. Fred Miller, Tennessee lineman, falls on it. But it is a safety. An overtime game won on a safety. Only the second time NFL history. 89, Vikes, Mike Merriweather blocked a punt out of the end zone against Hatcher and the Rams. The Bears get punt return, but they've got 5 scores and the safety on defense and special teams. 19-17 Chicago. How about Lovie Smith's defense?
Well, Lovie Smith's defense, opportunistic, and Craig Krenzel figuring out a way to do what he did best when he was in college, which is win football games. We have these rookie quarterbacks now, and all they do is win football games.
Krenzel is 3-0 despite numbers that aren't great. Well, the one game on this day between the two teams with winning records going into it with the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Jets, both looking up. Ravens looking up at Pittsburgh a little bit. Jets looking up at New England. They're their AFC East. But the Jets had a different plan because Pennington out 2 to 4 weeks with a shoulder injury. Quincy Carter led the Cowboys to the playoffs a year ago. Could he lead the Jets to a win against Baltimore? Here we go with our prime cut at the Meadowlands. Quincy Carter won twice at the Meadowlands last year as a Cowboy quarterback. Once against the Jets, once against the Giants. So Carter has the Jets up 7-0, and on 3rd and 6 in the second quarter, he finds Lamont Jordan. Carter can buy a little time. It's going to be a 25-yard pickup. Jordan ran hard to the 18-yard line. And then Ray Lewis flagged for a personal foul penalty, mixing it up with Wayne Corbett. Billick saying it should have gone both ways, but that didn't work. And so the Jets get yards tacked on. And Curtis, my favorite, Martin, up the middle, touchdown. Martin running today against Baltimore for 119 yards, 14-0 Jets.
Yeah, and watch the lead fullback here, Gerald Soule, as he takes a beat on Ray Lewis. This is why the Jets are able to run the football so well. They hit the hole on time with Curtis Martin, and they get great blocking up front, offensive line, fullback as well.
Earlier in the game, Dave Zastido, the punter of the Ravens, knocked down by Mark Brown. He would have to leave the game. Do they have another punter? Most teams don't, but it's Cordell Stewart. Backup quarterback, now backup punter. Steps in, punts, 31 yards. Santana Moss actually made a nice scoop. You know, Stewart had 5 punts for an average of over 35 yards. That's pretty darn impressive. And in the end, helped save the Ravens with the way the game was going to go. Although, at this point, it was all Jets. Quincy Carter to Moss, and Santana pulls it down to the 17. McAllister out, Raymond Walls beaten on the play. And now the Jets, with the 2-minute warning, want Lamont Jordan to try to throw the option pass. Only Ravens were in the end zone, and Reed picks it off. Now, before we show you what happened today, remember Sunday night, last minute, Cleveland trying to tie it. Ed Reed, record 106-yard interception return. Then, what happened here? So we left you with Reed in the end zone, and he decided to come out. At first you thought he was foolish, but this is Ed Reed. And he could go all the way, except right there, Will Demps gets caught blocking the last Jet, who is Quincy Carter. So 78-yard return on an ill-advised play as it turned out.
Yeah, and Will Demps should have just turned inside, looked inside of him. He would have had an easy block, could have sprung him to the end zone.
And what did it set up, though, Tom? Kyle Bollard at 6'6", right? Clarence Moore, 14-7, game different. Stover field goal, 14-10. Kyle Bollard, Travis Taylor. So Bollard, who looks lost sometimes, now rallying the Ravens. 4 minutes to go. Bollard, Clarence Moore, there's the height again.
6'6".
And with a little over 4 minutes to go, the Ravens have quoted the Jets a deficit, 17-14. Quincy Carter, who had a tough second half, now rallying a little bit to Justin McCarron's first down. Then Curtis, my favorite, Moreeeee and company, blocking up front. Down to the 17. There's 55. Well, here's what it is. 55 seconds ago, 3rd and 6. Carter, quarterback draw, first down. But somehow we go from 50. They have 2 timeouts. It got to 18 seconds before they did anything. And on 1st and goal, Jordan, 1 yard. Then, after a timeout, Jets, Carter rolls, throws it away. They got a timeout left. There's 8 seconds to go. Herman Edwards on the field. Offensive coordinator Paul Hackett in the booth, trying to get the play in. And then 12, 11. Now this, inexperienced Carter, or at least inexperienced Jet system. Tick. And now they got to call the timeout, which they might have saved for a shot at the end zone and a field goal.
And now you're limited to that last play being a pass or field goal, but you're not able to run the football.
No, and so now, reluctantly, Doug Bryan on, good, but instead of being thrilled, the Jet fans, when the game's tied, boos cascading down from the upper decks of the Meadowlands. Jets had 2 straight 3-and-outs in overtime on 3rd and 5. Ravens' second shot at it, Bollard to Kevin Johnson. 3rd and 14, Bollard, Travis Taylor for 10. And that gets it in. Matt Stover, 42 yards. Good. He won 2 games in overtime last year. He's one of the best in football, and a stunning loss for the Jets and a huge win for the Ravens. Each team 6-3 as the Ravens win it 20-17 on a game that turned, frankly, on a dime. After the game, lots to talk about, starting with the clock for the Jets.
At the end there, we had 8 seconds left, but before that,
just had problems getting the play called. The clock was winding down, called timeout, and then from there, we tried a boot before that, didn't work. I didn't want to lose yardage, and I wasn't going to chance it. At that point, I was going to kick a field goal, tie the game, and just try to play defense.
We didn't get the play off on time as far as the play clock going down, and we had to be forced to call a timeout in that situation. So, as a football team, players, coaches, I mean, we all stick together, and we definitely don't point the finger.
No finger pointing, but they're talking about 8 seconds. I actually can explain that, although it's not what you want.
It's the 50 to 18.
50 to 18.
50 to 18.
If you don't know what to do, A, spike
because
it,
we've got 2 timeouts.
Just call a timeout, and then you had all sorts of options, first, second.
Because I think that there are people who will misrepresent that as they just played for the field goal. I think if the time had been handled right between 50 and 18, you would have seen certainly that Coach Edwards wanted to win that game in regulation, but they put themselves in a position where the timeouts got used, 1 play got run, and you had to settle for a field goal because you couldn't afford to have something happen and not get 3 on the board.
The other thing, and look, this is Monday morning quarterback. Jordan could have seen that nobody was open in the end zone on the trick play, but a trick play. Look, they went for the jugular, which in some ways is fine. 21-0. But had it been 17-0, if they make a field goal there, the Ravens were stumbling on offense, and that play, and of course Reed's decision to come out, changed the game.
Boom, the only way the Ravens are going to do what they need to do is that defense is going to score points. And you've got to allow that defense to score points.
Well, they just about did. And a big win, Baltimore. Michael Vick, he can score points with his arm and legs. Vick's Falcons at home against the Bucs, who have had his number. Willis McGahee, 3 starts for the Bills, 3 wins for the Bills. Can he do it in New England? Bills at Super Bowl champion Patriots. Bottom of the hour, Sunday Night Football.
Welcome back to NFL PrimeTime, presented by Miller Lite.
2 important games in the NFC between numbers 1 and 2. This is the NFC West. The Rams, who had a big comeback against Seattle earlier this year, 5 weeks ago, and this time they didn't wait till late. They started early. 13 straight pass plays to get it going. If we only could throw the ball every time we had the snap. Mark Bulger to Isaac Bruce, Mark Bulger to Torrey Holt, then Bulger. Why is it the Seahawks get beat by the Ram receivers you never heard of? It's never Bruce and Holt. This time it's Kevin Curtis with a touchdown. 7-0 St. Louis. Next Ram possession. Terrell Biera levels Torrey Holt. Remember, he was one of the ones who was burned in that comeback, Tom. Holt leaves the game. But the Rams continue to roll.
Yeah, and you look at the replay. I give Torrey Holt a lot of credit for running into the middle, catching that ball, knowing the safety was going to hit it.
This is Steven Jackson, Tom, with a 4-yard touchdown run. 14-0 St. Louis against Mike Holmgren Seahawks. Now, Seattle, man, once they got going, they had, Jerry Rice can't hold on. That was a tough catch. Then Darrell Jackson. These guys, can anybody catch? Can they catch? Come on, Seahawks. Darrell Jackson goes through his hands. Then Max Strong on 4th and 1 at the 39. Can't get a first down. Later in the third, it's 20-9. Marshall. But Ken Hamlin falls on the ball for Seattle. And Seahawks in business after the play. Tempers player Orlando Pace gets ejected for making contact with an official. It was inadvertent, but he kind of grabbed a hold of him, and you just can't do it.
You just can't grab the official at all. He was falling right there. He tried to hold himself up. The official went down. Sorry about that, brother. You're going to have to leave.
It's 20-12. Sean Alexander, big play. Seahawks are in it inside the 20, but Aeneas Williams tracks him down, forces the fumble, and Seattle with another miscue in Ram territory. Then Marshall. Down the sidelines, 40 yards, sets up a field goal, and St. Louis holds Seattle to 4 field goals. They have tied Seattle atop the division, beaten them twice, so they really have the lead, winning 23-12. Seattle 6 times inside the 30, got 4 field goals.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Sean Alexander, outstanding day, 176 yards on 22 carries. The fumble, the biggest play that he made all day. Receivers, good day, drops in the end zone, can't get the touchdown to seal the deal.
Mike Martz got tough this week with the Rams, and they showed it on the field. They had 462 yards. Meanwhile, 1-2 in the NFC South. The Mike Vick-led Falcons 6-2 against Tampa Bay, who've won lately. Vick running. Look what he does. I mean, every time you look at it, he can't be this fast. He is 41 yards inside the 10. Later in the drive, 1st and goal. TJ Duckett. Powerful run. Touchdown, 10-0 Falcons. Another Duckett touchdown, 17-0 Falcons. Brian Greasy, late first half. Michael Clayton, the rookie, 25 yards, 17-7. But overall, Greasy had a tough time with the Atlanta defense, who matched the season high with 7 sacks.
Yeah, protection of the quarterback is key. And when you see guys coming for you, especially from the backside, think about how nervous Brian Greasy is going to eventually get when he doesn't know these shots are coming. And it takes its toll later on in a football game.
Atlanta furious on this play. Michael Pittman stuffed fumble. Chris Draft. There's a draft in the room, and he's gone. No, he wasn't touched. Keep going. In the end zone. Touchdown. Falcons defense quelling a Bucs uprising at 17-14. But John Gruden, flag, matches his red shirt, and they look at it again, and what do they rule, Tom?
Well, you just take a look at this. You can see that his forward progress is stopped right there. That was the ruling, not a fumble. Tampa Bay happy.
So, Jim Mora and company, furious. But his defense on 4th and 1, next play, takes it out on Pittman again. Falcons defense gets the ball to the offense on downs. And then Vick to Algie Crumpler. What a pass. Beautiful. And Crumpler crumples the Bucs' hope of a comeback. Atlanta wins it 24-14. They're 7-2. Tampa, after winning a few games, falls to 3-6. 205 yards rushing for Atlanta in this game.
Yeah, an Atlanta football team where the defense had that one little snag against the Kansas City Chiefs, 8 rushing touchdowns given up. But other than that, this has been a pretty outstanding defensive unit, along with Mike Vick, where you don't want to see him come playoff time.
And we showed you the sacks. And so Atlanta now in a driver's seat in that division. When we return to Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns renew, how do you say it, acquaintances. And huge game in the NFC Norris division between the surging Pack and the slipping Vikes. Down to the wire at Lambeau.
The PGA Tour presents the 2004 84 Lumber Classic.